Alabama has built one of the most explosive offenses in college basketball. They play fast, they shoot a ton of threes, and they constantly pressure the rim. But here's the key: it's not chaos, it's a system. Every possession is designed to create what their staff calls an efficient outcome: free throws, advantage layups, or advantage threes. And the way they get there comes down to four pillars: race, pace, rim pressure, and decision making. In this breakdown, we'll dive into how those principles fuel Alabama's attack and why it makes them so hard to guard.
The scoring factor on three. 1, 2, 3, scoring factory.
What's up, everybody? Coach Kevin with the Scoring Factory, back with episode 11 of our breakdown series. Today, we're talking about the Alabama Crimson Tide offense, and let's get right into it. The entire goal behind Alabama's offense is to create efficient outcomes through rim pressure. And the first way that they create rim pressure is by a concept they call race. This is racing the ball down the floor after either a made basket or a defensive rebound. Their stated goal as a staff is to get the ball to the other three-point line within 3 seconds of the ball either going through the hoop or the defensive rebound being acquired. So if you look at this clip, North Carolina has 4 guys already back that are not in the screen. And still, Alabama gets the ball after the made bucket down the floor quick enough that by the time the camera pans back, we're getting an open three-point corner look, which is the most efficient look in basketball outside of a paint touch because UNC isn't matched up right. So they're going to get this open three-point look. Alabama believes in what they call pressure offense. When you think of pressure, most teams think defense, but Alabama creates pressure offense, and that means your defensive transition has to be perfect 10 out of 10 times. Otherwise, you're going to be giving up looks. Even if you get back on time, they believe that they can create mismatches and miscommunications by racing the ball down the floor. If Alabama doesn't score on their initial transition push, they give their players 3 extra seconds after the ball gets to the opposing three-point line to get into one of their transition triggers. Their favorite trigger is the drag screen, and as you can see in this clip, as they realize that they're not going to be able to score on this initial break, the big immediately goes into this transition drag screen. What this allows is for Alabama to have an action before the defense is set. As you can see, there are players here in help that are not looking at the ball and are still getting back to their man, which allows this coverage to be beat early. They don't communicate well, and now there's an advantage. So their goal is that once they create an advantage in transition, they do not want to give it up. Here's another clip from the same game. We get the ball going down the floor. We see that we can't score immediately in transition, so this drag screen comes quickly. It's before this player can get back and be in the gap and help. So because they get into their action so quickly, they're able to keep the advantage that they create in transition and make sure that they don't let the shell get set. Again, same game, same concept. Here comes our drag screen. The defense isn't set, and it allows them to get a quick bucket, and that is the pressure offense that we're talking about. Again, same concept, drag screen. This is a little more set on the defense, but they get a 3, and that's a look that they're willing to get. Another one of Alabama's favorite transition triggers is their away screen. And as you can see, Alabama likes to run with the ball in the slot in transition with a 5 behind the play. So here's our 5. He's going to either decide to set this drag screen or set this away screen. In this clip, you're going to see he sets the away screen and they end up getting downhill, and it's a 2-on-1 and they get an easy layup. The biggest key and the biggest consistency that you'll see in all of Alabama's actions is the speed at which they happen. They do not want to give up an advantage, especially when they have the ball in transition. Their big key that they focus on with all of their players is that once you create an advantage, you cannot give the advantage back. So they create an advantage here, they get a pitch back, and now they get a 3, and that's one of their looks that they want to get as an offense. Another favorite in the Alabama transition trigger playbook is the stagger screen. So as you can see, we have our same alignment. The ball is coming up in the slot. We have a big coming up behind the play. But instead of screening a drag screen here or an away screen here, we're actually going to see this player go set a screen as a stagger in the corner. So this stagger screen comes. They create an advantage. Sears is now going downhill and his defender is behind him. They get the advantage they're looking for and they get a paint touch, which is exactly what they want. Again, as you're going to see here, we have our alignment where the ball is coming up in the slot. We're going to see this stagger screen here set for Sears. You're going to see our trailer come in as well. And again, this is just another way to mix up what the defense is seeing in transition before they're set. So now we have our initial stagger and they get into their spread ball screen. Defender goes under and we rescreen. Again, something we teach at the Scoring Factory all the time. And they get an open three for one of their best shooters. Here comes our transition break. So reminder of the alignment. Ball going in the slot. They called this player not a non-shooter. They use the term connector. But he has options. We can see this drag screen. We can see an away screen. Or what we're going to see in this clip is a stagger. So it gives Alabama a ton of options and it keeps the defense on their heels because they're not exactly sure what that transition is going to look like. They create an advantage. They keep an advantage. They play through and they get a layup. Now, you're not going to get your ideal spacing every time that the ball is brought up in transition. Sometimes you'll see the ball is being brought up in the slot, but the corner is empty. So what they'll do is they'll go into their drag screen typically as the trailer comes up, but it's on an empty side. So now it's an empty side ball screen and you have a little more room to work with when it comes to rejecting the screen. And that's a really popular option that Alabama likes, is to reject the screen and force the defense to get into rotation. If Alabama doesn't score on their initial fast break or their secondary action, they often flow into their 5-out concepts. 99% of Alabama's offense is unscripted. They teach concepts and then let their players play with those concepts. It allows them to keep their advantage and not have to slow down and call a play. So here we get a screen. This is their spread pick and roll spacing. As you're going to see, we have everybody spread along the 3-point line. It allows the guard more space to work once they get downhill, and it forces tougher decisions on the tag defenders. So here again, we get the drag screen. This is a kind of a secondary break situation. Drag screen. We're going to see a hammer action here on the other side. They don't get any of it, so they go back up to the top, call for another spread pick and roll. This time they get the slip that they're looking for, and it's an easy dunk because they had these two players spaced in the deep corner. Help wasn't able to get there. I think that this clip against Kentucky is a great example of all of their concepts mashed into one. Here we see our secondary break. They weren't able to score quickly off the fast break. So we see the concept we saw earlier. We're going to get our stagger screen here. We see our stagger, and now they're into their flow concepts. We talked about this in one of our previous videos. Sears comes up and sets a ghost screen. This puts his defender way behind the play. So now Sears is going to get the ball. He attacks quickly, gives it back. They realize that they need to keep their advantage. We're going to see hammer action in the corner, and we're going to see a pitch and a get, a rescreen because the defender went under. They move the ball, and they get a three that they're looking for. And that's really Alabama's offense encapsulated in one play. Keep the offense moving. Don't give your advantage up. Don't stop the ball, and get one of the efficient outcomes that they're looking for. Another go-to action that Alabama loves, and I showed it in the last clip, is this pitch and this chase action. So we're going to get our spread pick and roll. They don't create a great advantage off of it that they like, so they pitch, and now after the ball is delivered, Sears is going to go chase it and get it and play off of this. You're going to see this player clears the side to give Sears more space. We're going to see these players rotate up, and this is essentially turned into an empty side pick and roll, which allows Sears to get downhill and get a layup that they're looking for. Again, as you're going to see, they go to an initial action. They don't like their out of bounds play. They get it. They pitch it to the player, and then they get in the paint for two. All of these actions are great, but they don't work if your players don't have the skills to utilize to make them successful. One of the biggest things that Alabama preaches is being unselfish. Making the one extra pass is something that they are always looking to do. As you can see in all of these clips, they pass up good shots for better shots, and that's what allows them as a team to be so successful. They're not just looking out for themselves, they're looking out for the team and how they can get their teammates the best shot. So as you can see, yes, these are decent shots, but they're passing them up for better shots so that they can score more efficiently as a group. Another super important skill that Alabama drills all the time with their players are stampede catches or go catches or running through the catch. When you see that your defender is out of position, Alabama gets going to the hoop before they even catch the ball. So watch some of these clips. They are running, they are moving before the ball gets there. They don't wait, catch the ball, and then make their move. They're moving on the catch so that their defender already being out of position is significantly better for them, because as the defender is stepping up, they're already moving and not waiting for that defender to be able to have a better closeout. So watch some of these catches and you can see that they're moving on the catch, which allows them, again, to keep the advantage that they created with their initial action. And that's one of their key pillars of their offense. Another skill that Alabama preaches, and I think that everyone should preach, is their 0.5 decision making, which means you have 0.5 seconds to make a decision to either drive it, pass it, or shoot it. This allows the ball and the offense to keep moving and not get stagnant. So as you can see in these clips, when a player catches the ball, they have half a second. Either shoot it, move it, or drive it. It keeps pressure on and keeps the advantage that you created. As you can see, Alabama's offense isn't just about playing fast. It's about playing with purpose. From racing the floor in transition, to flowing seamlessly into their 5-out attack, to drilling the skills that make the system work, everything they do is built to create efficient outcomes. That's why year after year, they're one of the most dangerous teams in the country. Thanks again for watching, everybody. Please remember to like, subscribe, and comment what you want to see next. Follow us on our social medias at The Scoring Factory, and as always, I will see everybody in the next video.